Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear, because I want you to remember this. Every night when you go to bed, you're probably wearing slippers right before you go to bed to walk around the house. When you get to the edge of your bed, take your slippers off, push them underneath your bed, maybe about 2-3 feet. Then in the morning, when you go to retrieve your slippers so you don't have to walk on that cold floor again, get on your knees and retrieve those slippers. Look underneath. Oh, there they are. Retrieve them. And then while you're down there, I ask you to thank God for grace. Thank God for mercy. Thank God for understanding. We all fall short of the glory. We all need prayer. Pray that we all go out and touch someone today on this beautiful new day. Thank God that God gave you a new day. Ask God for forgiveness. Pray, God, somebody out there needs me today. Give me the strength to witness, to share the gospel. Receiving gifts should not be abused by anyone. And while it is nice to have money, I want you to know that when you get too much money and you start living around that money, that you might abuse the gift for material wealth. And we all have a very unique gift in life. We have a gift to go out and touch people, to affect people. We need to understand that gift. We need to protect that gift. We need to appreciate that gift. Utilize that gift, and don't abuse that gift. No matter how much you have, you'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. Now, I've been blessed to make a fair living in my life. I can't take it with me, and neither can you. It's how much you have. It's not how much you have in life. It's what you do with what you have. That's what matters in life. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy at 516-458-2741. Larry Geis and I always tell folks like you, it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter where you've been. What matters most is where you're going. I would like to ask you today to go to his website, to www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis can be found at 516-458-2741. Larry Geis has over 30 years experience as an addiction recovery coach. He can take you from addiction to recovery. He can take you from low self-esteem to raising it, depression to happier times. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy, 516-458-2741. Did you know that alcohol is more dangerous than heroin? There are some reports, many reports actually, that has drawn the media attention, and the media has given to heroin abuse a misconception within the public. Most people now believe that heroin addiction is far more serious than alcoholism. This is a true myth. When this serious, when the overall harm caused to society is considered to be found that alcohol is far more dangerous than heroin, crack. What am I thinking about, a duck? But you can look at the statistics. This claim has important implications because it means that legal drugs are causing more problems than illegal drugs. Listen to that. Legal drugs, which is alcohol, is causing more problems than illegal drugs. Evidence that alcohol is more dangerous than heroin. Evidence that alcohol is more dangerous than heroin has been supplied by a recent study in the United Kingdom. Researchers used a number of criteria to determine the potential damage in different drugs, including alcohol. It included such things as damage to the health and problems with relationships. Each drug was given a danger score out of 100. Alcohol scored the highest with a danger score of 72. Heroin scored a 55 and crack cocaine a 54. Cannabis only scored a 20. Which now that shows you that the legal drug is the most, it scored the most highest. Reasons why heroin addiction is viewed more serious than alcohol addiction. There are a number of reasons of why heroin addiction is viewed more seriously than alcohol addiction, including alcohol is legal in most parts of the world while heroin is illegal. The fact that it is legal means that many people do not even consider it to be a recreational drug. Alcohol has been accepted part of Western culture for centuries. There are even times of the year, such as the holiday season, when alcohol is considered to be a normal part of life. Alcohol can be bought legally in shops and bars. The fact that it is so freely available adds to its legitimacy. Consumption of alcohol is usually shown in a positive light on TV and film, while heroin use is shown in a negative light. You never see anybody advertising for heroin, but you see such as Budweiser and Miller and Johnny Walker. They all advertise like alcohol is part of life. There is a demand for books and films dealing with seediness of heroin addiction. This type of addict is usually depicted as desperate and dangerous. The common picture of an alcoholic is somebody who's mostly just making their own life miserable. The companies that make alcohol drinks invest a great deal of money in making their product appear acceptable in the general public. There is a myth that alcohol abuse and creativity are closely related. People have to break the law in order to maintain a heroin habit. The criminality of their actions make their addiction appear more serious to the member of the general public. Dangers of a heroin addiction is more serious than alcohol. Myth. Not only is the idea that heroin is a more serious addiction than alcoholism wrong, but it can also be a very harmful presentation. The dangers of thinking this way include, listen to this now, alcoholics can use this myth to justify their own excesses. They can believe that what they are doing is less harmful than drug abuse and therefore more acceptable. Alcoholism involves less of the stigma than heroin addiction. In some communities, heavy drinking is considered to be a norm, relatively harmless act. The public concern about heroin abuse may mean that government funds are disappropriately assigned for this instead of programs designed to tackle alcoholism. There can be more pressure on governments to tackle drug problems like heroin because it is viewed by the public as more serious. Dangers of alcohol abuse. Alcohol abuse is a serious problem for the individual, their family, and their friends, and society as a whole. The dangers of this type of behavior include: alcohol works as a toxin in the body and can damage every single organ. Those who chronically drink too much can develop alcohol liver disease or many other health problems, including heart disease. Not only is excessive alcohol intake bad for the body, but it can also lead to mental health problems such as depression. Those who fall into the addiction enter a world of mental despair. Alcohol is a depressant, and that means that it induces the symptoms of depression. The individual may respond to the low mood by drinking even more, so that they end up in a vicious cycle of increasing despair. Alcohol and suicide are closely related. It is estimated 18% of problem drinkers will eventually take their own lives. 18%. That means almost 1 out of 4. This is as much as 120 times the risk of general population. Excessive drinking is also closely related to all types of violence, including domestic violence. When people are inhabited by, they become capable of committing acts that they would not consider while sober. It can interfere with the ability and the individual to perform well in work. Some people become unemployable and may need to resort to crime in order to maintain their drinking habit. Alcoholics can act as a tyrant in their own home. That not only makes their life miserable, but also affects the happiness of those around them. People who are suffering from this type of addiction will often suffer financial hardships. Binge drinking is popular in the Western countries. This is where people drink an excessive amount of alcohol in a short period of time. This pattern of drinking can easily lead to alcohol poisoning and puts people more at risk than having accidents. Excessive consumption of alcohol can lead to blackouts where the individual is unable to remember a period of time where they were intoxicated. These episodes of amnesia can be extremely upsetting. There have been incidents where people have been accused of murder during the period of time and are unable to even remember that they killed somebody. If people become trapped in addiction, it means that they fail to make the most of their potential in life. The life of an addict is extremely limited. Alcohol abuse increases the likelihood that people will experiment with illegal drugs, including heroin. Some communities can be ravaged by alcoholism. This means that even the individual manages to get out of the community without becoming an alcoholic. They will still have been disadvantaged by belonging to it. Those who abuse alcohol are more willing to take dangerous risks and act impulsively. This means that they are more likely to engage in behaviors such as drinking and driving. Evidence that alcohol is more dangerous than heroin has led to calls for changes to the drug classification system in countries like the United Kingdom and most of Europe. The argument is that by classifying drugs like heroin as more dangerous than alcohol, it is exacerbating problems in society. Some have even called for a drug classification system to be scrapped completely so that more attention can be given to tackling the major issue like alcoholism. It seems unlikely that such changes will happen in the immediate future. Public concern continues to be more focused on dangers of illegal drugs. Alcoholism is so much more dangerous. If you look at how many people get killed on the road and there's drugs involved, 90% is because of drinking while driving, drinking while intoxicating, drunk while intoxicated. Folks, I'm not saying that heroin, crack, and cocaine is not bad, but alcohol, the illegal drug that's in your local 7-Elevens and your local little mini-marts, that is a bigger issue to tackle. Now, I'm not saying that, 21 is too young, because I truly believe as a veteran that if you're old enough to serve the country, you're old enough to to be served in a bar. However, this is a big however, I think the education needs to be there from kindergarten all the way up to high school about the dangers of drinking and driving, the dangers of drinking, period. That is the issue here. If we take a small percentage of our budgets, local school budgets, and concentrate on educating and teaching, then it will probably get a lot better. And I also believe that we can reduce the alcohol percentage in alcohol drinks. What does that mean? I'm saying instead of having something that's 100 proof, bring it down to 50 proof. Now, that's not the answer to everything, but certainly if we start chopping away at different issues, it might help. Alcoholism kills. I'm an alcoholic, but I've learned to live in recovery for years now. I am a sober alcoholic. What does that mean? That means I will always be an alcoholic, because if you give me one drink, I will continue drinking. But I've learned to live as an alcoholic. I have learned to live a sober life, and I am here to tell you it is possible, but there are 2 things you need to do. 3 things, actually. The first thing is that you have to admit you're an alcoholic. As I said here with no shame, I am an alcoholic, folks. I am here to tell you that if I started drinking now, again, I would go into full course alcoholism again. Second thing you need to do is you need to reach for God. You have to ask God for guidance and protection. You have to ask God for mercy. You have to tell God that you can no longer live the life you're living and you need help. And then you need to find yourself a sponsor, a coach, an addiction recovery coach, because God will do 99% of it once you give your life to God. Now, God will do 99% of fixing you, but you need that coach of some sort or that sponsor. You need to have that structure here on earth come together with God to make a whole you. You need to surround yourself with better people in your life, sober people. You need to find that going to church is something to look forward to. Go back to the old roots when you were brought up, that Sundays were church days. Alcoholism can be fought. Alcohol, you can win and still sit here in front of this video and say you're an alcoholic, but a sober alcoholic, an alcoholic who has been living in recovery for years now. Together, all of us can help each other by coming together. But reach for God. Remember the slippers. Take your slippers off tonight before bed. Put them under your bed. Tomorrow morning, wake up, get on your knees, and retrieve those slippers. And thank God for another beautiful day. For someone else might never wake up. Thank God for your home and your food and your family, because somewhere out there, there's someone who doesn't have that. Ask God for mercy and forgiveness. Tell God that, what can I do, God, today to help someone else? Let God plant that seed in your mind. Go out and help another person. There are so many people out there that need help. Why not let it be you to be that person? I hope to God that you were able to see the difference between alcohol and drugs. Alcohol is so much more dangerous. And I hope you enjoyed this segment. We have a special guest that I'm doing a phone interview on Saturday. I'll be publishing, and she'll be talking about her desire and her goal to become a peer specialist, which is similar to a life coach. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to next time, and may God bless you.